Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. My name is Priscilla, and I'm on the marketing team here at Samsara. And today we have a special training that's part of our Samsara Quarterly series where we update you on Samsara's product releases and how to use them. Now, there's always a lot going on, and we've heard feedback that it's hard to keep up with all the new features and changes in the dashboard. So what you can expect from each Samsara Quarterly is a look back in the past couple months. Think of it as a live webinar highlight reel of the What's New page in your dashboard. You can always get new feature information there as releases come out, but we want to have a dedicated space every quarter where you can come and hear directly from experts and have the chance to ask some questions. So if this is your first quarterly, we're glad that you're here. I will note that we are going to go through a lot of material today and it's targeted at more established customers. So if you're newer to Samsara and you're still getting your feet wet, don't worry. Some of this stuff might feel a little bit fast, but it'll all come together as you grow in your Samsara knowledge. Lastly, I just want to put it out there, this is a roadmap-free zone. We're really focused today on releases that have already come out, and we're happy to answer questions related to those, but this is just not the place to talk about our product roadmap. So if you have specific questions or feature requests, please submit those in your dashboard by pressing on the feedback button. Our training today will focus on updates covering a couple big themes: compliance, efficiency, safety, and also a special section to introduce site visibility. And as always, we'll have a couple announcements and a live Q&A at the end. After the training, you'll get a recording of the session in a follow-up email. I'll also send out these slides so you have them. They'll have links to different resources so you can peruse those. And we also have our stellar support team on the line ready to answer your questions. You see a Q&A box on your computer, just like what you're seeing on the screen here. And if you have a question, just type it in and hit send. The team will answer everything they can and will follow up on anything we're unable to get to or help out with live during this webinar. I have 5 people on the line today helping answer your questions: Beth, Hannah B, Hannah D, Nada, and Danny, and they will be taking good care of you guys today. All right, so to kick us off, Samsara has a mission of improving the efficiency, safety, and sustainability of the operations that power our economy. For the past few years, we've been focused on driving innovation in the areas of real-time data, artificial intelligence, and open APIs. We have a large team dedicated to research and development, and of course, customer support. And our teams read every single feedback submission that we get from you. So please keep sending those in to inspire our new features. Today, we've grown to serve over 15,000 organizations worldwide across a variety of industries in both the public and private sectors. And we truly believe that this is a partnership. So on behalf of the Samsara team, I want to thank you for choosing Samsara and trusting us with your business. And without further ado, let's kick off with our compliance update. So I'm excited to dive into some of the key compliance updates that we've introduced this quarter. As many of you know, the final rule on HOS went into effect on September 29th, and at a high level, the final rule was issued by the FMCSA to introduce more flexibility and autonomy for both carriers and drivers. That's really great news. So there were 4 key changes in this rule, covering updates to the 30-minute break period, split sleeper berth exception, adverse driving exception, and short haul exception. Now, we won't dive too deeply into these today. We actually just did a recent training webinar that goes in depth into each of these changes and how you can manage them for your operations. But we are providing full support for all the changes that happened in the final rule. So feel free to check out our resources on what that support kind of looks like. If you're interested in those resources, go ahead and let the Q&A team know, and they will be able to point you to where those links are. Now, in order to get the updates associated with the final rule, as well as many of our latest feature updates in the driver app, it's super important that your drivers have the latest version of the driver app. You can ensure that your drivers have the most up-to-date version if they are regularly signing in and out. That allows us to push over-the-air updates without people having to go ahead and update their apps separately. So you can help your drivers build this as a habit at the beginning and end of each of their shifts to ensure that they have access to the most up-to-date version of the app. If you're part of the back office team, you can check exactly what versions your drivers are on and identify which drivers need to update their apps from the drivers page. So right now it's important to make sure and check that for all drivers who are utilizing HOS, that they are on version 6460 or higher. So making sure that you go ahead and check that for them. One of the new resources available in our recent driver app update is our digital ELD cab kit. So we've introduced this new digital version to ensure that drivers always have access to key documentation. Drivers can access this from both the login and settings pages, so they never have to worry about losing track of their paper copies. So we've clarified and confirmed with the FMCSA that the manuals are able to be made available to drivers in the vehicle via an electronic format. So having these documents available in the driver app is fully compliant with FMCSA regulations, so you can rest assured on that front. Of course, when it comes to compliance, we know how crucial it is to ensure that HOS is accurate and up to date. And sometimes drivers may go into areas of low or no connectivity, but you and your drivers can approach compliance confidently knowing that HOS is still maintained. Samsara is built to work offline in these areas. And our new connectivity states feature shows drivers when they have lost service and surfaces helpful context on what is happening to their HOS while they're offline. So in these situations, HOS is still being recorded and will be uploaded when the drivers regain their connection. For drivers who don't leverage Samsara Wi-Fi for their hours of service, they can use our new direct USB connection to connect their mobile device directly with their vehicle gateway. This will ensure that drivers maintain hours of service through areas with no cellular coverage at all. So whether it's our new digital ELD cab kits or connectivity updates, your drivers can just be confident to know that the driver app makes it easy to maintain compliance in the midst of changing regulation. If you're interested in leveraging our direct USB connection, go ahead and reach out to our Q&A team and we'll be sure to take down your information. Of course, it's not just your drivers involved in compliance, so we've introduced new ways for your back office team to help your drivers maintain compliance no matter what's going on. So in light of the final rule, we've made it easy to leverage the relevant exceptions for your fleet. Under the drivers section in your settings, you can easily select whether you need short haul or adverse driving for your fleet. Additionally, in the section, you can do things like grant access to yard move and personal conveyance, edit ELD day start hours, and select a home terminal time zone specific to your driver. With changing regulations, it's even more important to keep an eye on compliance to help your team prevent HOS violations. To alert your back office team to when violations are approaching, our new HOS violations alert will send your team a notification ahead of when the violation actually occurs. You can even customize the amount of time before the violation occurs, the type of violation, which drivers will trigger this, and who receives these notifications. So this will make it easy for your entire team to help your drivers prevent HOS violations. Now, we all know that compliance is not limited to HOS. Filing for IFTA and screening mileage and fuel purchases for qualifying jurisdiction, all of that is time consuming and risks some manual errors. So for those of you with vehicles that qualify for IFTA, we've greatly improved our IFTA mileage report, making it more streamlined than it was before. So this report now first integrates fuel purchases, so whether that's through an easier manual upload process or automatically through our Comdata fuel card integration, it's easy for you to see fuel purchases all in that report. This new report also has mileage breakdowns by total IFTA miles, non-IFTA miles, and total miles, as well as fuel breakdowns by tax-paid gallons of fuel and IFTA miles per gallon. We also now have more variety of reporting views across all jurisdictions, per each jurisdiction, or by vehicle. We've also made it easier to see monthly and quarterly reports, and they're even archived and easier to access through the persistent time picker at the top of the screen. For those looking to integrate fuel purchases, if you currently use a Comdata card and have not integrated your cards yet, you can submit a request directly from the fuel purchase report in your dashboard. You just enter your fuel card vendor account number and sign a data waiver form. Once the administrative approvals are completed, your fuel card data will populate in the Samsara fuel purchase report. If you don't use a fuel card currently, you can find more information on Comdata in our integration marketplace. So for the fuel purchase report integration via fuel card not only streamlines your IFTA filing, but also reduces fuel fraud by marking transactions as unverified if a Samsara gateway was not in the proximity of the fuel station at the time of the transaction. And it also just provides you one single dashboard view of your fuel economy. So we've covered a lot around our latest compliance updates with hours of service and IFTA. If you have questions, please feel free to ping our Q&A team, and we'll move on next to updates around efficiency. Okay, so I'm excited to share with you how you can extend the efficiency you've gained by tracking your vehicles to other kinds of assets and equipments in your fleet. So let's start at a high level. Our customers, yourselves, you guys manage a diverse fleet of trailers and equipment. So if you work in agriculture, for example, you might have seasonal trailers you're using right now for harvest season, but these are not the same trailers that you use to cool and transport produce across the state. And it's not just trailers. The equipment that you use across your business can vary dramatically in complexity. Roll-off containers and debris boxes might sit comfortably on a job site for a month, but we know that high-value equipment like a front loader could be used at multiple job sites every week, and they just require more sophisticated maintenance and attention. So how you use your trailers or equipment really dictates what you need to know about them to run your business more efficiently. But it's not just what you need to know about your assets that can vary. The environmental conditions that they operate in varies as well, and your telematics hardware needs to keep up. The industry standard for telematics hardware is an ingress protection rating of 67, which allows for the hardware to be submerged in water and is dust tight. But by working alongside our customers in the field, we've uncovered that additional protection is needed. So to give you an example, some of our customers working in hazardous waste disposal for COVID-19, or customers who transfer livestock or food products, they all have strict sanitization regimens that involve high pressure cleaning of their trailers and equipment to meet regulatory requirements. These high temperatures and high pressure jets require protections beyond IP67. So to meet these use cases, we've hardened our asset gateways to an industry-leading IP69K rating. So unless you're planning to blast your assets into space, you should have all the protection that you'll ever need. So this leads us to where the asset gateway lineup stands today. In addition to increased weatherproofing, we've expanded the lineup by adding the AG46P, our middle tier powered asset tracker that provides basic real-time GPS location. With this expansion, we're going for the full Goldilocks effect, where no matter what your tastes are, we have an asset tracker that is right for you and your needs. So let's double click into how this expanded lineup can help you increase the efficiency of your operations. Some of your assets aren't supposed to move all the time. Debris boxes, portable toilets, and generators may remain in the field or in a warehouse for weeks or even months. So keeping track of inventory and ensuring assets aren't walking away should be a passive exercise, not something that your team needs to spend cycles managing. And we know that this can be a serious challenge. I was recently speaking with a customer who is working on installing asset trackers on 500 of their roll-off dumpsters. But the problem is they have only been able to locate 200 of the 500 dumpsters that they have on their books. They actually have an over-under bet running if they can find 300 of them. So by equipping your assets with trackers that check in daily, you can ensure that you always have an accurate inventory and avoid wasting time tracking down equipment in the field. And in case something does move, our Wake on Motion alerts can notify you instantly so you can recover your asset quickly. No bloodhounds required. For assets like trailers that are constantly on the move, the speed at which you can locate a trailer defines how efficiently you can run your business. Delivery ETAs, detention time, and utilization are all measured in hours and minutes. So by equipping trailers with real-time GPS, you can automate updates between your teams and with your customers and stop relying on unreliable and inefficient games of telephone. You can also make real-time trailer data available to use in other systems, such as a TMS, to help you streamline dispatch. We recently launched a full data and workflow integration with TMW TruckMate so that your trailer location data is always in unison across your systems. But let's double click into other efficiencies available for trailers, specifically around load monitoring. Arguably more important than GPS location is cold chain integrity for our customers working in refrigerated freight. So to help avoid inefficiencies such as pre-cooling trailers and adjusting set points, your dispatchers can adjust these settings from the same dashboard that they use to assign routes. And by automating temperature logging, you can avoid wasted time and fees by having trip temperature reports on demand for customers and regulators alike. The other area we can go beyond location tracking is remote access to engine diagnostics. With heavy equipment, it's not only important to know where your equipment is running, but how it's running. So by unlocking remote access to engine diagnostics and fault codes, your maintenance teams can identify problems in between service intervals. And since these diagnostics are logged historically, you can analyze why equipment might be failing with historical context. All of these insights together enable you to maximize uptime and keep equipment in the field instead of in the shop. And lastly, when it comes to efficiency, one of the major productivity losses any company faces is the swivel chairing between the various applications you use to manage your fleet and equipment from various manufacturers. But by building turnkey integrations and seeking partnerships with OEM providers like Caterpillar, John Deere, and Ford, we can cut the legs off the swivel chair and provide you a single login to manage every asset in your fleet. So if you have any questions about increasing your operational efficiency by tracking your assets, don't forget to add them to our Q&A chat so we can tackle them together. And now we're gonna move on to talk more about safety. So I really love that image of this swivel chair and how Samsara allows you to stay focused. You only have to look in one direction and you can still get all the information you need to run your operation smoothly. But when it comes to safety, there's always something more that we could be doing. Am I right? If you were able to join the last Samsara Quarterly or any of the recent safety-focused trainings, you'll remember that we've made big strides in leveraging artificial intelligence to help detect potential accidents before they even happen. So today I have a couple updates for you that get at that idea of safety from a slightly different angle. When we think about safety, it's not just about the time that drivers are spending on the road. A lot of you have crews and personnel that perform many other job functions outside of just driving, so it's important to understand how your teams are working together. I'm excited to introduce our co-location report designed and developed in partnership with many field services fleets, including SoCal Edison, which is one of the largest utilities in the country. In learning more about safety and factors that lead to safer work environments, we found that there was a high correlation between the amount of time that supervisors spend with their crews in the field and how safe those jobs end up being. With the co-location report, Samsara leverages your vehicle data to see where your teams are located in relation to each other, essentially whether or not an actual ride-along is happening in the field. You're able to see how long supervisor vehicles are in the same area as crew vehicles. You can also set goals and start measuring against those. And of course, using our tags, you're able to create custom automated reporting based on all of this information. But what happens if you can't physically be with your workers or your drivers? I'm happy to announce that we're testing a beta of our live streaming feature, which allows you to access videos from your vehicles in real time to perform a sort of virtual ride-along. Now, I know we're all concerned about privacy, and that's something that we also take very seriously at Samsara. So I want to emphasize that this is an optional feature created for fleets where this ability to virtually ride along would be helpful. No audio or cab-facing footage is accessible. With live streaming, you just see the front-facing footage of the road. And just hearing from our beta customers, they're actually finding it helpful to do remote onboarding and training using this feature because of all the varying levels of regulation and social distancing that is in place right now. So if you're interested in learning more, let us know via the Q&A chat and we'll be able to provide you more information about this feature and when it's going to go live. Last but not least, I also wanted to call out the dashboard interface change that I think you guys will like a lot. You now have the ability to autoplay footage and thumbnails when you hover over them in both the safety inbox and the video library. So this helps you go through safety events more efficiently and allows you to save those double clicks for events that you really need to investigate a little bit more deeply. All of our talk of safety so far has been focused on vehicle-related safety and how Samsara can help you gain visibility into what's happening on the road or in the field. But we recognize that operations aren't just relegated to fleet. Many of you have facilities and industrial equipment as well, and maybe some of you are using our industrial sensors and controls. I'm excited to share that the team has been hard at work exploring how we can use technology to look at safety and operations in other areas. So without further ado, let's take a look.
This seems pretty on point.
I really like the features that I'm seeing.
You don't really have to think about it. It's like you click on it, bam, it's right there.
You put some really nice new features in there.
The hard work is showing and it's paying off.
Interface looks great. There's a lot of wonderful capabilities.
I'm able to just pull it up right as it's happening.
Pretty amazing. And to have it all on one dashboard.
The end user experience.
It's a no-brainer.
Literally in 5 minutes, I've got this app figured
A
out.
lot more integration. Really so impressed.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I like the motion clips there. Man, this is awesome.
I'm really digging this.
I like that a lot. That's great.
Your guys' system definitely better over our current setup.
Yeah, it's pretty damn slick.
All right, so we've already talked a lot today about compliance, efficiency, and safety for fleets and industrial equipment. But from talking to many of our customers, many of you, we learned that you guys needed visibility and support for your terminals and work sites as well. Site visibility is an advanced video management system that allows our customers to intelligently view and monitor their work sites from the same Samsara dashboard as their fleet products. So we've taken that same AI technology that you guys have come to know and love from our dash cameras and made it available to all of your on-site security cameras. As we dove deeper into our customers' needs, we learned that there were a few key areas where we could provide real value. First, by offering a security system on a consolidated modern platform. Second, by offering remote and even on-the-go visibility. And third, leveraging computer vision and advanced AI to bring rich insights into their camera footage. So let's talk about a consolidated and modern system. Many customers have multiple dispersed locations, as well as new facilities that were built or acquired. And this kind of leads to a Frankenstein effect where each location leveraged a different vendor for their physical security needs, and it wasn't easy to view all locations from a single system. We've also heard horror stories from our customers that when they needed to review security camera footage, such as for theft or safety incident, they realized that the camera was offline and hadn't even captured the precious footage that they needed. We wanted to solve for all of those things. So with site visibility, we're able to consolidate all of your camera streams across all of your locations and even from various vendors into a single Samsara dashboard. With device health alerts, you'll also be immediately notified if your hardware goes down for any reason. Next, we recognize that our customers are busy and you're running complex operations and you can't always be physically on site and logged into the network to view camera streams. We wanted to allow our customers to review their video footage from anywhere, especially if they needed to check in on a site from home or if they were on a location located across the country. And with that, we wanted to make it easier to grant visibility to more employees in the organization. For example, a plant manager may need to access his streams at his Omaha location, but he shouldn't be able to see what's going on somewhere else in Des Moines, for instance. But the COO should have visibility into every location. And with site visibility, we can easily create granular user permissions and views to give our customers the access that they need. Finally, we wanted to take that same computer vision and advanced AI features from our dash cameras into our next camera venture. For example, with intelligent people and clothing detection, you can immediately receive a text when a person wearing a yellow high visibility vest is entering a restricted zone after hours. Many of our manufacturing customers also leverage our inactivity alerts to get a real-time notification when there hasn't been motion on a production line, say in 5 minutes, allowing them to immediately investigate the issue and reduce downtime. Let's dive into one of our customers that is currently using fleet, industrial, and site visibility products. Hardee's. I love this clip since you can clearly visualize the motion in the scene. But what you may not notice is that when those two forklifts just collided, Arlie, the director of operations, was actually walking down this aisle. He quickly pulls out his Samsara mobile app and saves the video clip to his library. Later that day, he addresses this in their safety meeting and is able to coach the team on best practices in the warehouse. Site visibility overlays on Hardee's existing cameras, and as Arlie explains, it's allowed them to quickly identify problems with employees and processes to increase their warehouse safety and productivity. What Arlie especially loves, and what we've heard from a number of other customers, is that being able to toggle between fleet, industrial, and site visibility products right in the same Samsara dashboard is incredibly valuable. This makes it easy to gain that granular visibility so many of our customers need into their entire operations without needing to log into a new system or keep track of which vendor and which application is for which product. We are so excited to bring site visibility to our customers. This is the same powerful technology from our dash cams now overlaid onto any camera, offering enhanced visibility into your sites from the same Samsara dashboard as fleet and industrial products. And as I mentioned earlier, site visibility can integrate with third-party IP cameras by plugging in our site gateway hardware into your network. This means that you don't have to rip and replace your existing infrastructure and makes any camera that you currently have on site smart. Okay, so we've covered a lot with highlights on a couple themes today: compliance, efficiency, safety, and site visibility. And we're only just scratching the surface of the new features that have been released in the past couple months. There's a lot more that's come out in those areas and beyond. But one bonus new feature I wanted to call out today is a new installer experience in our Fleet app. We've heard your feedback. The paper install guides don't really provide real-time or device-specific feedback during the install process. So we built this new workflow so it makes it really easy to install and verify that your VGs and dash cams are activated and installed properly. We've also created a new installer admin profile for those of you that rely on a mechanic or a third-party shop for installations, but don't really want them to see other data in your Samsara dashboard. Again, today was designed to be a highlight reel of new releases that have come out. So if you want to learn more and check out other new features that we've released in the past couple months, head to the What's New section in your Samsara dashboard. And that's it from us. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon.